My name is Beatrice Valsen. I've been working as Sportmaster for 8 months now. I'm from Haiti. I love my job. That's where I make a little money to send to my mom in Haiti. That's how I get to pay for school. I wouldn't like for you to close club with Sportmaster. I would like for you to work out something with Sportmaster. Merci. You want to take over?
Hello. I'm working Portmaster maybe 16 years old.
No, you have to give your name and address. By no avec address.
Jean Etienne.
His name is Jean Etienne.
140 Northwest 7 Avenue.
Okay.
So 16 years old I'm working Portmaster. Si Portmaster again problems avec.
16 years you said?
16 years old.
So you want to say it in English or Creole?
En Creole. So
oh, okay.
Perdu maman moi depuis. Ma peine perdu maman moi. So me fait un an bal travail, il retourne back.
He worked out as Sportmaster for 16 years. He just lost his mom and didn't go to work, and they took him back.
But now, back in family, only Sportmaster ki family.
Now I have no family. Sportmaster is my family. That's my only family.
So,
if you could support Sportmaster, I would appreciate it. That would help me.
Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup.
Hi, Laura Hill, 170. I'm sorry, I have a cold. 13075 Griffin Boulevard. I want to speak on the Sportmaster issue. Clearly, nobody wants to take the bread and butter away from people's households and their jobs. We want to keep jobs in North Miami. I don't believe it's a either or. It's a matter of zoning. It clearly is outgrown the zoning that it's in. It's in a completely inappropriate area of town. That doesn't mean there aren't appropriate areas of town, perhaps on Northwest 7th or in one of our industrial areas. We can maintain the jobs that these people have. They won't be traveling very much further since it's really not that big of a town. And we can give the people who live around Sportmaster now, which is highly residential and in our downtown area, a peaceful way of life. It can be both. So I'd like to see that it be worked out so that everybody can have a peaceful resolution to this long thorn in the side of North Miami. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alina Medina. I live at 1270 Northeast, 124th Street. I am not against anybody having a job and working, not against at all, but Sportmaster is violating, was found guilty in violations, and they are operating in an industrial facility under a tarp, with machines under a tarp. This is a picture, and I wanted you to see it, of the machines that when they were trying to bring negotiations or talk, the same day they were putting these machines under in their business. And I want to show you the pictures. I don't know if you see it, but what I would like to add to that is, how can you be in negotiations or mediate when you are violating the laws and operating as an industrial facility? There's no good faith. So they shouldn't be moved to another place where they can operate how in the way that they are an industrial facility. I'm not against anybody working for their family. That's not the issue here. They're in violation. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Bonsoir, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Adèle Noël. J'habite en 1520 Northeast 125th Street.
I live at 1520 Northeast 125th Street.
Je travaille pour Sportmaster. M'entré en 6 ans ici.
I've been living for 6 years and never worked before Sportmaster.
Travail pour des familles Haïti, petit point. tout côté me débit application pas jamais déjoindre.
That's the only place that gave me a job. I applied everywhere else and I couldn't find a job.
Mandé nous c'est pour nous supporter lui.
I ask that you support
C'est lui même
Sportmaster.
qui aide me payer bill moins. S'il parle encore bon, me pas payer bill moins.
If Sportmaster
Ça
is
fait
no
demander
longer
pour
here, I
demander
won't be able
l'État.
to pay for my bills.
Mandé bon pas demander aide pour l'État, c'est pour l'État aider. Même si me travaille pour compte moi. M'pas besoin aider.
I don't want to get help from the government. I want to be able to work for myself and earn my own money.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, merci.
Good evening. My name is Ria Carr. I live at 1250 Northeast 125th Street. I live less than 100 feet from Spotmasters, and as the woman stated before, Spotmasters has outgrown where they operate. I understand the business and why Ms. Meckler has her business and how it's run. I understand that. It's a business, and I admire her for running the business and having that business all these years, and it's grown. But Ms. Meckler, it has grown into something that should not be that close to where I live. The noise is just unbearable. I don't have time to spend, coming to council meetings and sitting in mediations. This is not just something I have against Spotmasters or their employees. It's how I want to live my life. My life should not be constant noise, whether it's a banging, a clinging, a hissing, a humming, a slamming, a loading, and unloading. It's a constant. It's not anything that ends from 9 to 5. It's something that is continual. It is continual. And again, I'm not doing this because I have nothing better to do. I just got out of work and I'm here at a council meeting. I want to be home. But when I do leave here, I have to think about when I open my door, what noise am I going to hear? Thank you.
Good evening. Good evening. Carol Prager, 2509 Northeast 135th Street. I enjoyed attending the Know Me Neighbors downtown cleanup this weekend. I was Team Milo. I had 2 small children with me, whose mom was good enough to let them come in our group. I'd like to point out a couple of things that I saw while we were doing the cleanup. We started off at the police department and we headed west over Northeast 6th Avenue, around the border of Griffin Park to, is it Memorial Highway or Griffin Boulevard? Before we headed north. And I want to tell you that between Northeast 6th Avenue and Memorial Highway was just a disaster. A disaster. We had drains that were city drains, completely buried beneath soil and dirt and had weeds growing on top of it. And I have pictures to show you where we were actually, with our hands, digging up the soil to clear the drain away. Nope, you wouldn't even have known a drain was there. We found 2 like that over there. We found a broken telephone, payphone in front of the apartment building that affronts the park. I have a picture of that. Fast food debris from Taco Bell, McDonald's, whatever, the small mom and pops, there were styrofoam, things all over the ground with food in it, empty liquor bottles. I mean, this was all over, but these were on swales in front of businesses or on swales in front of houses. So I want to know if businesses are supposed to keep their
Wait 2 minutes.
if the businesses are supposed to keep their swales clean in front of their houses, and if residents have to keep their swales clean in front of their houses. And also we saw stuff that had blown off the back of the Waste Pro trucks that these drivers never stop to go back and pick up.
All right.
The other thing I'd like to tell you is this. When we crossed over 123rd Street and we went down 129th and we zigzagged between 129th and 127th, it was magnificent. Magnificent. These homes are being renovated by young families, brand new windows, landscapes, the swales were clean, cars were not parked on the front lawn. I mean, it was just night and day, and how many feet was this from the other side of the road? And it makes
Ms.
no
Krieger, we have to wrap it up.
it makes no sense, Mr. Mayor. It makes no sense.
All right.
And I don't think we ought to have to organize ourselves as residents of North Miami to clean up the city. I think we need to take a really hard look at what has to be done and who's responsible for keeping
Public
their
Works.
property clean.
Richard Ennis, 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue. The only thing I can say about the cleanup, and my wife and I were there, and you need to get some younger than centenarian legs out there. You had two 70-year-olds walking those streets, so, but we did a nice job. Since I have complained a lot for the last 3 years about my improper billing for my utility bill, I have to now take the step to thank you that it's through the efforts of the city manager, support of my council person, and the deputy city manager, the new finance director, Mr. Spring, took a very logical approach to completing it's in the works now of repairing or fixing my billing, which should have been done a long time ago in a logical sense, which will save me money and also save the city money in the long run, so you don't have to go out and stick an extra meter out there to connect to nothing. So I just want to say thank you very much. And also, there should be no reason why Mr. Ghani should not be able to negotiate a complete package that serves him well and serves the city well. He's willing to stay on and help be a consultant, and he's given you 19 years of excellent service. And the reason that he was very aware of contracts with Public Works is because he was the director there before, and Mr. Pierre-Louis Whistler is not maybe totally familiar with what's going on there because he's new to the position, and this problem with getting a last-minute approval for 1.7 or $2 million was part of a 3-year process. So I think Mr. Ghani was the Public Works Director at the time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Citizens Forum still open?
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. Wow. Really, wow. I don't know how many times I presented how we publicly asked for numbers to back up the comp plan. It's not a surprise. We actually asked for that. I produced them. They were verified by Biscayne Landing's numbers. They're verified by the numbers that are available for North Miami Beach for high-rises. You can find them all over. But we get something sparkly, and we go, oh, that's wonderful. Where was the question, if we like this presentation so much, where was the question, where are the numbers? Where does it show that anything that they produced is economically feasible? That you can produce it for X amount of dollars with X amount of time invested, and you can then rent it or sell it for something that will cover that investment. It's not there. As I started to say earlier, just a block away, you have a one-story building that was built. Nobody gets it. They built a one-story because it's so damn cheap and easy, they can cover the taxes and maybe make a couple bucks. They didn't even see it fit that once they pay for a foundation and a roof, they said, hey, it's not worth it to build one more floor and a few walls around it to get an income because I can't get an income. It doesn't financially work. Doesn't anybody get it? Everything that's proposed, none of it is financially feasible. I've done the analysis for a property on the water. It still doesn't work. And we're told that 115 feet has, what we were shown in the demonstration, 115 feet has one level of parking. But when it comes down to exempting the parking, all of a sudden 115 feet has 4 levels of parking. It's amazing. In addition to that, who in South Florida has ever said, oh my God, there's too much shadow and shade? Good God. We're melting here, and we're going to worry about a shadow and shade study. We're not, as I said, in Lapland. We're not in Manhattan and Canyons. And you've fallen for it royally. absolutely royally. And it's embarrassing. It's totally embarrassing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kenneth H., 776 Northeast 125th Street. First, with regards to the cleaner on Spot Masters, it's a disgrace. These people have a right to live and enjoy the quality of life. To be disturbed at the middle of the night by banging and shoving and noise and everything else, that just destroys the whole quality of life. President Adams said the purpose of government was to keep its people happy. These people have a right to enjoy their liberty under the Constitution. Secondly, let me say to my dear friend, Mr. Ghani, you served with distinction. You brought calm to troubled waters. You brought back professionalism to this city. With the commissions I served on in the military and in the police department, I've been in government almost 50 years. And without a doubt, you're one of the nicest, most honest, most professional men that I have ever met in government, and actually even in the private sector. You are a man of honor and dignity, and I thank you for the calmness and the professionalism and your dedication to this community. We, as a community, are better off because of you. I wish you in your journey of life all the best to you and your family. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, citizens forum is now closed. We go to the reports.
No report from me tonight, Mr. Mayor.
I have a report. Chief H.
He's
Chief
too
H.
busy working the room.
Sorry.
Congressman H.
I just wanted to let you know, I agree with you on one more item. Strange as it is, I echo your, I said I agree with you on one other item. Strange as it may be. Your comments on Mr. Ghani, so thank you.
Carol, you and I probably only agreed on about three things in our existence,
is
but
one of them.
I thank you for that.
I just want you to know I agree. Briefly, I want to thank the staff, our manager, everybody who worked on the Grand Fiesta. We had just one of the finest parties our city has ever thrown Saturday night. The sky was beautiful in between two horrible days. We had probably 2,000–3,000 people there with not an incident. It was peaceful. The diversity in our city, everybody was out there. The music was fantastic. We danced till they closed down. It was just a wonderful party, and for those of you who missed it, shame on you, and I just really want to thank staff because it couldn't have been more perfect, so thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Parks and Recs, you've done it again. That was a beautiful party. Unfortunately, I couldn't stay too long because I had a very bad headache. But I did get to dance some salsa before I left. And that was a beautiful environment to be in. You see family, people come, and fathers, mothers, children. And these are the type of activities we actually need, that we should aim for in our city. And then, Mr. Ghani, you're not leaving yet, so I'm not going to say anything about you leaving. And as for Mr. Sori, congratulations, and we look forward to knocking you in the head. Are you ready? It's not like we haven't been doing it.
Yeah,
We're just going to keep doing it on a different level.
and that's fine. And now it gets worse.
All right. Reports?
And just wanna again thank Park and Rec for a gun fiesta. And on Saturday it was really a nice event. And I wanna especially acknowledge Andrea Ramos from Park and Rec and all the other people that worked for that event to be what it was Saturday night. That's conclude my report.
No, I have none.
Mr. Attorney?
No, sir.
Mr. Manager?
Just quickly, as I said before, we are working on the closing for Biscayne Landings. I believe we could do it in the next 2 weeks, but I'll be informing the council on how things progress.
Ms. Assistant Clerk?
No report, Mayor.
Mr.
What do you
Deputy.
mean, no?
Mr. Mayor. Just, I hate to bring it up, but I would like some direction on how the council would like us to move forward with the comp plan. Is there any direction you want to give to staff and going back and evaluate anything, or where we should look to bring it back or bring it forward?
Well, there seems to be only one item.
Yes.
That-
Mr. Story, I didn't have a problem with the comp plan, but I did have a couple of residents who did the tone of the meeting from the last time. So it's that word, the supermajority, that really spike all the action from the comp plan. I don't think I have absolutely no problem with every item within the comp plan. Well, with some after hearing the consultant, all the hard work that they've done, but on some principles and having to hear some residents, it's really, really mind-boggling after we stayed here until 4 o'clock because of that one word. When you come in, you're compromising. This is a community. You got to give something. So it was like, I have to stand on the principle of my community, unless if there was an apology or something, you know, the meeting was totally, totally uncalled for, the last meeting. So that's why I voted against the comp plan, because people been coming to me.
Just asking you for direction.
No, well,
for
I'm
directives.
explaining, Mr. Mayor, I'm explaining my reason behind. No,
Yeah.
I don't mind, I do not mind revoting, but there has to be something, there has to be an acknowledgement from Councilman Galvin on whatever the harsh that was made. I don't have no problem with it, but the word, if I'm compromising on that, having to go back to my constituents saying, well, you know, it was okay, I don't have any problem with it, but I give in the word, the supermajority, but the tone was not good. And I think the entire community hurt. So if Councilman Galvin does apologize, if it's legal for us to revote, and I think I get the same thing, I'm echoing, I think, Mr. Mayor, you know, so on that principle,
For
that
what,
was
Mr.
that.
Councilman DeSume?
Yes, sir.
For what would you expect an apology? I didn't realize I said anything that was...
Well, Councilman Galvin, the way the meeting started last time.
That's the way we want to continue this, or what?
Yeah,
is this
exactly.
the proper
asking me
way?
for a public apology.
Mm.
I'm very curious to know what I said that was offensive. Not a person, not
Okay.
a soul has mentioned anything to me since that
Okay.
meeting.
Okay. You're right. You're probably right. I'm sorry then. Disregard that comment.
Okay.
Thank you.
Ms. Filippo, do you have any reports?
The assistant did.
The motion to adjourn?
Mr. Mayor, before we finish, I would like to thank the council for their support and me being an interrupter. Thank you guys.
All right.